Hey, what's up? Welcome to our series, Wondrously Weird Bible Stories, where we dig into the strange, the supernatural, and the most mysterious parts of the Bible. So buckle up, things are about to get seriously weird. Imagine walking through a land swarming with unseen forces, bent on destroying you at every turn. That was the Israelites' challenge in the Transjordan journey, as described in Numbers and Deuteronomy. It wasn't just rough terrain. They faced ancient gods, hostile enemies, and giants. With these supernatural dangers lurking, God himself stepped in, guiding them through a perilous land where everyone was out to annihilate them. As the Israelites advanced toward the Promised Land, they were entering Bashan, a realm ruled by powerful kingdoms and aligned with dark spiritual forces. These rulers weren't mere mortals. The land was under the sway of divine beings opposed to Yahweh. They were the very powers Paul warned about in Ephesians 6, verse 12. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. This is where God's direct involvement became crucial. The Israelites needed more than a strategy or a roadmap. They needed divine protection. Bashan was no ordinary territory. It was a land steeped in spiritual warfare, ruled not just by human kings, but by hostile forces aligned against Yahweh. Without God's intervention, the Israelites would have been vulnerable to more than just armies. They would have faced the unseen spiritual powers that dominated these regions, the very forces Paul described in Ephesians. One of the most terrifying encounters the Israelites faced involved the giants of the land. These were no ordinary foes. They were the descendants of the Nephilim. Groups like the Rephaim and Anakim were more than just big armies. They were literally warrior giant clans. Listen to what the spies sent out to scout the Promised Land, said in Numbers 13, verses 32 and 33. The land, through which we have gone to spy it out, is a land that devours its inhabitants, and all the people that we saw in it are of great height. And there we saw the Nephilim, the sons of Anak, who come from the Nephilim, and we seemed to ourselves like grasshoppers, and so we seemed to them. Their presence in the land was a direct challenge to God's divine plan. Defeating them was a decisive blow against the ancient forces that had long sought to corrupt Yahweh's purpose. The mission was clear. The Israelites weren't waging war for conquest or glory, but to cleanse the land of these dark, primeval powers. When they faced King Og of Bashan, one of the last of the Rephaim, his defeat marked the fall of one of the final remnants of the ancient rebellion, a moment when the spiritual grip on the land was shattered. In overcoming Og, the Israelites struck down a symbol of the supernatural opposition that had resisted Yahweh's people for generations. Let's look at Deuteronomy 3, verse 3. So the Lord our God gave into our hand Og also, the king of Bashan, and all his people, and we struck him down until he had no survivor left. The land they were entering had been scarred by generations of spiritual corruption, and their mission was to reclaim it. This wasn't just about securing a homeland. They were participating in God's plan to restore a land long plagued by darkness. God's presence wasn't simply about guiding them through the wilderness. They already knew their destination. His presence gave them the courage to confront the overwhelming physical and spiritual forces entrenched in the land. These were battles they couldn't win on their own. And that's why you see moments like Jericho, where the walls of a fortified city crumbled at the sound of trumpets and the shouts of men. Just consider how Joshua describes the success of their campaign in Joshua 11, verse 22. There was none of the Anakim left in the land of the people of Israel. Only in Gaza, in Gath, and in Ashdod did some remain. The journey was more than a march to the Promised Land. It was a battle between light and darkness. Every victory was a strike against ancient evil, with the Israelites driving the giants from the land. Yet we understand from Joshua's statement that some did still survive. They would rise again, as in David's battle with Goliath, a reminder that the struggle for the land's soul was far from over. The scars of that ancient war would haunt Israel for generations. Thanks for stopping by. If you enjoyed this, don't miss my series on supernaturality and the Bible. The link is in the description. And just remember to keep reading that Bible.